this is the first of a series for the mini-sodes that we're gonna have, the little in-between bites of the long episodes, because Laura and I mean, we've been doing this for 3.5 years now,
Yeah.
and that's impressive for us to begin with, and so we're just gonna chop these up, and so
We've
we're gonna
learned this about ourselves that we need these breaks.
yeah, we absolutely do. We just juggle a lot, and so these ones are gonna be talking about caves and just how they contain some of nature and humanity's greatest secrets. So this
Yeah.
first one, Laura and I just focused on cool things that have been found, just in general, just things that have been found in caves. And
Yeah.
again, I was pretty excited about this one, so I'm
Yeah.
happy for the ones that I picked. And I also again, we promised everybody that we would do more stuff on Patreon. And so this episode is gonna kick that off because I put my script that I wrote into Patreon and I had it generate images based off of
Oh,
what I wrote.
yes.
So Laura, we can totally after this too, we can put your notes into it and then we can
Yeah.
have it generate images and we can upload on Patreon because they're pretty epic. Laura, I'm gonna show
Yeah, because the
you
actual
them.
sites are like right, it's definitely worth seeing, at least 2 of mine.
Yeah, but ChatGPT images are way better because
Oh, I
they're
can
just
only
like
imagine.
outlandish things. So I'll show you after like
Okay,
after every one of mine, then I'll show you what the image was 'cause there's some pretty good ones here.
cool.
All right, do you want to go ahead and go first with yours?
This was totally new for me, I had never heard of this thing before, this took the Google search of what if they be found in caves?
Yeah.
Because I was like, "I just want something different," and I got it. So this is Movile Cave, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which lets you know it's important. It's in Mangalia in southeastern Romania. I'm probably butchering these names. I'm sorry, any Romanians. But it's very, very close to the Black Sea. And I mean a couple of kilometers from the Black Sea. And I looked up a picture of this cave site, and it's literally just under high tension lines. You
What?
would never know that this thing was
Huh.
here.
Yeah.
So it was discovered in 1986, so very recently, by Christian Lascu at the bottom of an 18-meter shaft that was dug to see if it would be a good place for a nuclear power plant. So they were like, let's sink a hole. Let's see what's down here
Right?
under these high tension lines and then right through. And so it's this shaft. And this is the only way that this place is accessed via this shaft. And it is closed off at all times to keep the outside atmosphere from coming in.
That makes sense,
Because
yeah.
what they found at the bottom of this 18-meter shaft, so it's not, I mean, 18 meters, you know what?
It's
That's
not yeah,
roughly
yeah,
like,
it's not that deep
it's not
considering
that
it's a
deep.
cave, yeah.
But so it is picture in your head, it's 240 meters long horizontally. Okay. That's the
Okay.
dry part of, well, most parts of it are dry and parts of it are wet. It's made out of limestone. So it's just like this big, long, tubular, whoa, can't say that word, tubular thing that goes up and down. And the reason why this cave is so important, it has had no natural entrance for the last, I found some differing of opinions here,
Of
but
course, yeah, we don't really
probably
know.
5.5 million years it has
Jiminy
been
Christmas.
completely isolated from
Dang.
the outside world, which is okay, cool. And how do they for sure know that it's been isolated for a long time because it shows no radioactive isotopes from Chernobyl. So nothing has percolated through the ground from
Yeah.
Chernobyl, which is not that far away. It is not a very hospitable cave.
I mean, I
Um
would imagine.
yes, it is oxygen is very low in some parts. CO2 is very high in the lower parts of the cave. There's methane in the air. So as soon as you open it up, it literally just smells like the entrance to hell because the methane and ammonia and hydrogen
Oh
sulfide
my
that's in the air.
gosh.
So it's like the
Yeah.
actual like temperature and stuff isn't so bad. It's actually 70 degrees, which is still actually a little high for being underground.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, for a cave, that's toasty.
Yeah, or 21 degrees
Well, I
Celsius
guess
for everyone else in the world.
all the
Yes, I
gases
think
and
that is
stuff
what it
like
is.
that would definitely raise the temperature.
But it does have a relative humidity of 100%. So,
Jiminy Christmas,
and no
yeah.
air movement. So you go down there and
Ugh,
it might not be hot, but if you
feels like
do sweat,
Florida. Like
it's pure yeah, it's you're no sweat is coming off of you and no airflow because you were just
gosh.
underground in this complete isolation. This is the reason that this cave, okay, so yes, it's isolated, but the reason it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site is these heritage sites either have to be something with culture or something like biological. And this is incredibly important find biologically because it is the only known terrestrial habitat that relies on chemosynthesis to survive.
Oh,
So
interesting.
let me break that down for anybody else out there. This is basically like a deep sea vent ecosystem. This the only other place they exist on Earth is down, 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 where there is no light at all.
Yeah.
And without, I mean, you have to get energy from somewhere. Basic ecosystem rule. Energy comes from somewhere. You don't make it. So if it doesn't come from sun, it has to come from something else. And it is coming from things that feed off of the methane and the hydrogen sulfide in the water. Certain things like bacteria and microorganisms process that methane, sulfur, and ammonia that is found in the water. They form microbial mats, and then larger things feed on those mats and on one another. So it's the only known system on Earth like that
Hmm.
terrestrially because it's been cut off. And the reason why
Yeah.
there is so much methane and sulfur and things is this is an they accidentally
Jiminy Christmas. Hang on, the dog scared the bejeebers out of me.
talking about underground caves.
All right,
As we're
Jesus, that
talking about
scared the
creepy things
shit
found
out
in
of me.
underground
Yeah,
caves,
right.
you don't.
It was
Gah!
Otto, my dog. He just like because so Luke, I guess, has been sitting in there. Laura and I are recording at night. He's been sitting in there reading because he couldn't fall asleep. So I just went into his room. He should have been asleep by now, but I went into his room. All of his lights are on. He has books all sprawled out. He turned on his lava lamp, and he's just like hanging out. And
Big
so
chill.
yeah. So he just came to check. He came. He said he came to check on me. I was like, thanks,
Mhm.
bud. Yeah.
As we talk about
Thanks.
creepy caves.
Yeah. Right. Go ahead.
Well,
Continue.
so these microbial mats, larger things feed on them, and like I said, it's the first subterranean chemosynthesis-based ecosystem ever discovered. And I guess for many listeners out there, you might be like, "Whoa," like
Yeah.
that doesn't sound like much, but it is a completely new thing on planet Earth,
Yeah.
found completely by accident. And I was saying the
Dang.
reason why all of this methane and sulfur and everything is even in here is that they accidentally found it's an aquifer, which we've talked about in
Oh,
a
okay,
past
okay, yeah.
episode
Yeah.
with you guys in Texas. So the aquifer is the water that is under within a rock layer, and this one is it's shifted over time, but there is a thermal spring within this cave system somewhere that they haven't accessed yet. Basically, the water is bubbling up through the aquifer and it's bubbling up with all of this methane and ammonia and sulfur.
But again, this goes back to, okay, the smell of it alone. Who was the person you smell it and you're like, "You know what? We should explore this."
I know,
You know
right?
what I mean? It's
Well,
like,
I'd
I'd
just
be
be
like,
afraid it would eat my flesh from my
right?
bones.
Yeah, I
Like,
would immediately
you
be
don't
like,
even know what's in the water.
bury it back up,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
fill
Bury
in
it.
the hole, and just let it go.
They
It's been
yeah,
doing fine for the last 5,000,000
5
years.
and in 5,000,000 years. They think it
Yeah,
was I mean, so right, the last time they think it probably got colonized back 5.5 million years
that's
ago,
crazy.
and it's been doing its thing ever since with no light. It
Gosh.
truly is a completely different planet.
Yeah,
It has never seen
goodness.
the light of day in 5.5 million years, and there are things that live down there. And by things, I mean like 51 species of invertebrates. Okay,
Dang.
because that's the only thing that's living down there. 50,
Yeah, but still, I mean,
invertebrates.
well, I was just saying 51. I didn't
51
think it would be
species.
that, yeah, that much of a variety.
And
Hmm.
what's interesting is only 30%, 30 to 37 of those are endemic, which means found nowhere else on Earth. So they're obviously
Hmm.
it was colonized because you can find some of these species in other places on Earth.
Yeah, but
So they had
that's
to have come.
interesting. Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
interesting because 'cause it's
But
been
right, you'd think it'd be
5,000,000 years.
completely different. Yeah, completely
Yeah.
different life forms. But we're talking leeches, scorpions, spiders, worms, snails. The biggest thing in there, I think believe is called the cave king, and of course it's a
I mean, of
centipede.
course, the Cave
Yeah,
King, yeah.
cave king, centipede, because that's the biggest, baddest predator they got down there. But if you are interested, a lot has been done on this cave. SciShow has something on it, and then just check out the GESS lab. I guess that's the guest lab. Those are the people who are actually doing much of the research. They actually only allow a few researchers in per year because this needs to stay as undisturbed as possible in order to keep this
Yeah,
ecosystem
dang.
intact. So yeah, Movile Cave, an isolated cave from 5.5 million years ago.
Dang. That's pretty cool. All right, well, that wraps up the first of the cave chronicles that we're gonna do with Laura's cool cave, and then next week I will pick up mine with a may or may not mythical creature, maybe or maybe
What?
not mythical creature. Well, the
Jeez,
name
you
of one, but it's
oh, okay,
not
okay,
really
okay.
one. Or is it
Or
really
is
one?
it? Now
You
I
have to
need to know.
tune in next week, or tune in for 2 weeks, because
Thankfully, I
next
get to wait 2 minutes, and you guys
yeah.
have to wait till next week.
No, 2 weeks from now, because
Oh,
next week will
yes,
be
yes, yes,
a
yes, yes, back
yeah,
to
will be a
normal.
regular episode. So next week we'll be back again to regular episodes. It'll be long episode and then shorter ones, the cave ones, and then flip flop back and forth. So yeah, so make sure you guys visit us on Patreon. We'll be posting the pictures up on there, like I said, Chat
Yeah, check
GPT
out some
ones.
Movile Cave critters.
Yeah, yeah. So all right, guys, check us out on Patreon. And until next week, we'll talk to you later.
See ya.